Hi, my name is Tony, and today I'm going to show you how to make the most delicious green smoothie with just 3 ingredients. It is for a banana kale smoothie. This smoothie is so good. I have even fooled kids to think that it is a dessert smoothie. So if you or someone in your family does not like to get your greens in, this is a great smoothie to trick the brain into thinking it's dessert. We're starting with some kale. You can use any kind of kale that you have. I'm using the curly kale. Just make sure you wash it beforehand, shake off the excess water, and I'm gonna do a trick. If you have watched YouTube videos that I was in about 10 years ago with Michelle from World of Vegan, there's this trick in one of our What I Eat in a Day videos where Michelle is showing me how to strip the kale from its stem. So I'm gonna give that a try now. I don't usually do it, but it's so fun. Let's see if I can do it on camera. I did it. It worked perfectly. What I'm going to do is put about a cup of kale in here. I think that's going to be 2 to 3 of these guys. There's another one. And that's good. I really would pack that in there. I want to get as many greens as possible. So I don't mind if it's a little bit over a cup. And if you're really, really worried about using kale and feeding it to your kiddos or even liking it yourself, you can try it with some spinach, which has a much more mild flavor, and then work your way up to using kale one day. You can do a half and half and transition fully into the banana kale smoothie at a later time. Next, you're going to want to use some really ripe bananas. This is where your smoothie is going to get the sweetness from, so the riper the banana, the better. I saw a really terrible thing today. I was walking down my street and one of my neighbors, I hope they're not watching, and if you are, I'm sorry, they threw their spotted bananas in their compost pile, a whole bunch. Probably 5 that looked very similar to this were just tossed in the compost pile. And I know that dogs have probably passed by, so I didn't pick them up, but I sure thought about it. And these have so many different uses. I can put some down below. I have a ton of banana recipes to use ripened bananas, and this is one of them. So please save your bananas. And I'm going to tell you right now how to freeze them. What I do is I peel them and then I break them in half. Make sure that you peel them. Don't do what I did when I didn't know how to freeze bananas and I just tossed the whole thing in the banana and then the peel froze on, which was quite a hassle to get off. So what you want to do is peel first, and then you can either break them in half so that you always know what 1/2 of a banana is and you can put 2 together and make a whole banana, or you can do fourths. So just break it into 4 pieces, which might be easier on your blender. If you know for sure that your blender is not capable of handling frozen bananas that are in a bigger chunk, you can slice them, put them on a baking sheet, maybe line that with parchment paper and freeze it. Then put those in an airtight container in the freezer and use those up. And those are going to be a lot easier to run through the blender without getting stuck, especially if you don't have a high-powered blender or a tamper. And another trick that I'm going to do before I put my bananas in is blend up the kale before I put in the bananas. I'm going to blend up the kale with my plant-based milk. I'm just using the cheapest milk that I found at Walmart. It is an unsweetened almond milk, but I usually like a soy milk because then I get a boost of protein. What I'm going to do first, this is if you don't have a high-powered blender, I highly recommend doing this first, is put your greens in, add your plant-based milk, put your lid on, and then blend that up until the milk is completely green. This will prevent chunks of kale from showing in your smoothie. I know that I don't mind that, but if you're giving it to a kid, they may object. So this is the trick, especially if you're using a blender that's not high powered. As you can see, it is very green now and there are no chunks. So keep it on high and blend it until there are no chunks of kale left, and that will be so much easier on your blender. I had to do a blender pitcher change because I have mine that I use for filming and for my recipes. My husband has his and he uses his every day, so it's so beat up. So if you saw the blender change, that's what happened. Next, you can see that I already have my bananas frozen. I have them in halves. So I'm gonna put 4 halves in there. They're no longer really firm. They're very cold, but no longer super firm because they've been out for a little while I was setting up You can also add in 3 bananas if you want it to be more dessert-like. It looks really good. Mine is on the thinner side because my bananas were a bit thawed, but it should be thicker, and if you want it even colder, you can put in some ice as well. I know that this is going to be fantastic, but I want to add a boost of protein. So I'm going to add in a little bit of vanilla protein powder that I have on hand already. And I'm just going to add in 1 scoop. This is totally optional if you want a boost of protein. Alrighty, gonna pour it up. This tastes just like a dessert, but it's packed with nutrients from the kale and the banana, as well as the fortified plant-based milk. It is so easy to make. It's also really customizable, though this is only 3 ingredients. You can also put in some flax seeds. You can add in protein powder like I did, and you can add in a variety of other things. You can swap out the kale. You can add in more bananas, and all of the ways should be delicious. If you give this recipe a try, please let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, please give me a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Thanks, bye!